Shall we introduce the panel then?
We should.
Why doesn't our announcer start things off?
Braden?
Okay. I guess I'll go ahead. So yeah, I am Ninjawhip, otherwise known as I'm Braden, otherwise known as Ninjawhip. I am the ambassador of Masters of Brickjitzu, and we specialize in a lot of different things for Lego, and we're here to have a great time on the podcast. And yeah, Ace, why don't you go ahead and go?
Yes, I'm Ace, also known as My Brick Opinions. I am the monkey kid guy of Masters of Brickjitzu, pretty much. And I also love Ninjago, by the way. People seem to not think I love Ninjago. I love both. You can like both, by the way. Also, disclaimer. But Pen,
you can like both. It's true.
You want to go next, Pen?
Yeah, sure. I'm Pen of PenPlays. I am just kind of all over the internet talking about Lego through most of my days, sharing the joy, spreading the love of that. I am also a former employee of Lego. I used to work at a Lego store for some time, so I have a bit of a unique perspective on things, making me just a little bit different and maybe just a little bit more stranger than everybody else. But you know, that's part of my thing. Try to be a little bit loud, a little bit exciting. All things Lego, as much as I possibly can.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I'm Kyle, also known as Deluxe Collectibles, and I just cover kind of a general overview of Lego on my channel. I primarily, I guess, focus on Ninjago and now Monkey Kid as well, joining the club with Ace. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my only sort of thing. So now you go, Chris.
Right. Last but certainly not least, my name is Chris. I'm Legends of Ninjago on Twitter and Instagram. Love me some Lego, love me some dragons, love me some mocks. It's kind of what I do in the Ninjago community. Super excited to be here, and super excited to get this podcast started. So let's go.
Mr.
Absolutely.
Dragon.
And we're also joined by
guy.
Marvelous Jan, Joshua Deck, and Akuma Zen, who are also going to be joining us periodically. They have their own podcast called the Marvelous Cast. You might be very aware of it, but they might be joining us ever so often on these podcasts as well, because they are moderators in our Masters of Brickjitzu community. So yeah, now we got all the introductions out of the way.
You can find that community link below in the description if you're interested in joining. There is a 15 years or older cap there, but we would love to have you join us. We just upgraded our server too, so feel free to hop on by.
It's so sexy.
Absolutely.
It is so. Actually, Pen, do you want to dive, just before we start the topics, do you want to dive into a bit of the changes we implemented on the server update, which is going out today? The day we're premiering the podcast, we're also changing our server.
So the Discord server is kind of a centralized location where Masters of Brickjitzu operates, where we interact with our community and such. We do have other social media and such that are linked there, of course, but that's kind of where we have our community the most well-built. And what we're implementing in our upgrades to our server include stuff like you're able to assign when being notified when any of our content goes live on YouTube. You can customize your name on there and your profile icon and all that kind of stuff. What's also cool is that we'll have a whole bunch of channels that you can access that range from anything from our usual favorites here, Ninjago and Monkey Kid, to earlier Lego themes, pop culture stuff, video games. There's a whole area there dedicated to all sorts of conversations, and we'd love to have you join us when all of that's available to you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the people react to the changes. We've been planning these changes for a while now, and I'm just happy we're implementing them now. I've also tried to make the podcast be a thing since I joined Masters, and I'm just happy we're able to start. Because the thing is, this group of guys, we love to talk, and we love to talk Lego, and we have some of the coolest conversations, and I think it's about time that we can share these conversations with the world. So I want to start off. Sorry?
Nothing. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I want to start off with a question. What got you guys into Lego? Pen, I want to start with you, since I think you're the oldest out of all of us. Not to put you on the spot.
Just a little bit. Chris is coming up behind me here.
I'm an old man.
So I got into Lego just by receiving gifts when I was little. It was those kinds of sets where it's like not really anything in particular, but it just gives you an idea of what Lego's about. Eventually, influence of cousins and such kind of showed me, paved the way of, oh, this is what Lego is, and I thought that was really cool. Eventually, they all got into Star Wars. And as we grew up together, kind of parted ways after a while, the thing of loving Star Wars stuck with me. And with that, with the introduction of Lego Star Wars, which I was there for, and the hype of the Phantom Menace launching, there was just so much excitement for Star Wars, and it made me fall in love with the idea of science fiction, and the Lego sets helped cement that in my mind, despite, in truth, never actually having seen any of the movies to begin with. I just thought the Lego sets were cool. From then on, it just became more about what I thought was exciting in Lego set form and appreciating it as it came. And went through most of my life not having to worry about a dark age. I think that's probably primarily due to being employed for them during the time that would normally occur. But here I am years later and still loving it to death.
Wait, what age did you start working for Lego?
I started working for Lego when I was 18. You have to be 18 years or older in order to work for Lego.
I remember when I applied. I just turned 18 when I applied last year, and I remember 2 years ago actually. And I remember them saying like, "Oh, we don't really have like spots right now," and so I never reapplied. But I'm glad I never
definitely
reapplied.
gotta apply when you know they'll have availability. So like spring break, Christmas break, all that kind of stuff. Holiday seasons as a whole.
It was like early
October,
summer. It was early summer.
Yeah, their spots are probably already going to be full by then. You gotta hit it. Apply in mid-September. It's usually a good time.
No, but I was looking for like a summer job, and apparently,
yep, I get you.
Lego didn't want me anymore. Now let's move over
that's
to
a hint for all the listeners, though.
Yeah,
but you wanted Lego, and that's why you're here.
I know.
Yeah.
Now let's move over to the second oldest guy in the pod, Mr.
Oh goodness,
Lord Dragon Bounty, or what was the title? Because Mr. Chris
I think it was
here.
Lord.
No,
it was Lord Dragon
Lord, or
Lord?
Bounty Dragon Lord. Yeah, Dragon Bounty Lord.
69. Yeah.
No, we're not able to say that. just Bounty Dragon Lord.
It's just a number. What are you talking about?
It's just a number.
Just a number.
Just a number.
Don't be weird. Just like age. I am 25 years old. 25 years old, young. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I got into Lego at a pretty young age. I started off with Bionicle, and just kind of fell away from that for a couple years and really got into like Aqua Raiders and Knight's Kingdom, XL Force. Those were kind of my things growing up, and then got back into Bionicle whenever Bionicle kind of passed on to other things. I had a little bit of a dead year for Lego, kind of like 2010, and then I remember being in the library, because that's what I would do during my lunchtime instead of going outside for recess. I was on Brickopedia, and I found out that this Ninjago thing was coming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, colorful ninja, sign me up. And I fell in love from like that day. Like I knew that I wanted to have every single one of these ninja. Little did I know that this was going to become some like weird obsession in 4 or 5 years time, where I was trying to get all the minifigures and have every variant, and 5 years past that, 6 years past that, looking at it now, I've got every dragon now, almost every minifigure. Love just the aesthetic that Ninjago brings. It's constant like renewal of theme, and man, yeah, that's kind of my Lego journey so far. And as a kind of a content creator now, I'm loving every second of it. So,
wait,
where does the legends in your username come from?
Is that
tell us about that?
Yes. Oh, back in 2013, or I guess it was probably, it was 2013. It had been announced at I want to say it was Brick Fair, Virginia, that not Monkey.
Putting the blame
Ninjago
on the monkeys.
No, it's not the monkeys. I promise. Monkey Kid was
monkeys.
Monkey Kid was probably a twinkle in someone's eye at that point in time.
Not even that.
I don't even know about that now.
Yeah. But this this theme called Legends of Chima was coming up, and we kind of knew a little bit about that whenever Ninjago's end was originally announced, and I was devastated. I was so mad because I'm like, I love Ninjago, like I don't want this to end. It would have saved me probably thousands of dollars had it ended then, but I digress. Anyways, this
you probably would have a
Legends of
house
Chima
by
thing,
now.
I would probably have a house and a car if that kind of thing.
Mood.
Yeah. But yeah, so this Legends of Chima thing was coming up. I'm like, this sounds stupid. Like, I don't even know what it looks like, and I already hate it. So I'm going to name myself Legends of Ninjago on the, reputable site Eurobrick, and that's going to be my username from here on out. And ever since it's kind of stuck, I've wanted to change it a few times, but I just feel like that's just kind of how I'm known now. And until I'm told that I can't have Ninjago in my username, I'm going to keep it there probably. So it was kind of a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for?
Rebellious phase?
No, just kind of a little bit of a frick you to Legends of Chima. That being said, once the series came out, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Most people do.
Yeah, I was just upset that it was taking over Ninjago, and then eventually it was announced that Ninjago was coming back. So the anger inside of me, lessened a little bit, but yeah. So
Angsty
that's why I'm
Chris,
called Legends of Ninjago.
Angsty Chris was nothing to mess with, right, Chris?
I'm still Angsty Chris. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you don't want to call Chris Legends of Ninjago, you can call him Chrissy. That's he loves that nickname.
I don't love that nickname, but whatever you say, Ace.
AC.
What's your bet? AC.
Also, shout outs to former LEGO employee Kevin Hinkle for saving Ninjago, for being transparent with us at whatever convention that was. That caused the entire internet into uproar and practically saved the entire show. Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to name drop for that, but
I mean, he doesn't work for LEGO.
I guess that's true. But yeah, it was Kevin Hinkle.
What are they gonna do? Fire me?
We should get Kevin Hinkle on the podcast.
We should not do that.
I don't think that he wants to.
No,
he definitely would not.
He's not on to that.
No, he would not.
We tried to get on the documentary, and he
really
he unfortunately did not want to join us. But he gave us tons of information, like links to where we could find certain things to actually include. But unfortunately, he did not want to join, and that's completely understandable. And he was nice enough to actually provide things for us to use. So very nice guy.
I was not aware of that.
Very nice.
Moving over to the third oldest human being in this chat, Mr. Deluxe Collectibles.
That's me. Yeah, so basically, cut back to 2011, it's Christmas Day, and I got my first LEGO sets that I can remember, at least, and I remember getting the Ninjago skull truck from that first initial year of Ninjago, and then back then I was more primarily, which I still am I guess, but interested in Marvel and DC, so I got some sets for that, and I actually posted my first ever video to YouTube of that haul, which you can still find on YouTube, but it isn't on my channel, Deluxe Collectibles. It was a different one, but that was kind of my first run-in with LEGO, and then from then on it just kind of developed. I had already watched the Ninjago series right from the beginning, and I continued with that. Now the funny thing is, I don't know if it's just my terrible memory, but when thinking back when Ninjago did sort of end and then it came back with Rebooted, I actually don't even remember it stopping at any point. I just remember it still just continuing, and it's kind of funny because so many people talk about that period of time, and meanwhile I'm just oh yeah, it took a break for a little bit. So yeah, that kind of just flew by for me, but yeah, no, it's kind of just started with that, and I've just always it's kind of been off and on with LEGO, I suppose. I think in 2015 or 16 I just didn't have a lot of money to be spending on LEGO, and as you can see behind me as well, or as just trust me, take my word on it if you're only listening to this, is that I have a whole wall of Funko Pops, so that was kind of my primary interest for a period of time, but then I slowly came back to LEGO, and now I'm just full on with the brand. So yeah, It's kind of everything.
Awesome.
Brayden, do you want to go? The youngest weeb lad. Do you want to go first, or should I go?
You go. You go first.
You go first. I'll go last.
Hey, Jordan.
You go first. I'll go last.
Okay, I go first. So my first memory of Lego was the commercials, obviously, because those mid 2000s commercials were fantastic. Say whatever you want about Bionicle, Brayden, but Bionicle had some amazing commercials, and I also remember the Indiana Jones commercials. Fantastic commercials.
Yeah.
I still remember going into a store in 2010 and looking at or finding the Lego Harry Potter Dobby encounter. And the thing is, I've always been interested in Lego, but I was always told, because the age range was always like 6+, I was always told I should be that age to buy the product. And so I remember my parents, once I turned 7, my parents were like, you can buy Lego now. And I remember walking into Target and finding the Freeing Dobby set from 2010 and buying it, and then going to the hotel because we were on a trip, building it, loving it, going the next day to Target, buying another Harry Potter set, and from that on, I just fell in love with the brand. And then 2011 comes around. I remember going to Walmart and I remember being at Toys R Us, and they had these massive Ninjago displays. And back then, I was huge into Beyblades, and Ninjago was pretty much, or at least the spinners were like Beyblades with Lego. So I was combining my two favorite things ever. And so I just started buying Ninjago spinners, and that's how I got into Lego, pretty much.
Too cool, man. Too cool.
Brayden?
I remember those old Harry Potter sets.
Yeah, 2010 Harry Potter.
Yeah, no, first of all, oh yeah, 2010 Harry Potter is cool. But anyway, I am not a Bionicle hater. I don't really know that much about it, and it's something that I need to sit down and actually like be taught. I have gone over a few things. I think the toys are actually really freaking cool, especially the one that like flings the mask off of the bad guy that like flings the mask off of the heroes. That's freaking awesome. That is just.
So it's okay, Brayden. You can just sit there with me, where everybody calls me a Bionicle hater, even though I'm not. We can be buddies, you know.
Well, I don't know anything about Bionicle, so. But anywho, yeah, no, I'm Brayden, Ninja Whip. Again, I got into Lego back in early when I was a little kid. I loved Lego Star Wars. I like the early days of Star Wars back in 2007. I believe I got into Lego Star Wars, and it's really when I got into Lego. So I liked Lego Star Wars for a bit. I remember going and getting the Harry Potter sets for 2010 for some reason. I'm not really big into Harry Potter anymore, but I remember actually playing with those sets as a kid. So that's kind of like general Lego, and then of course when Ninjago came out, I kind of dropped everything and went straight to it. I love Ninjago. I've been with Ninjago since the beginning, and it's fantastic to see how far it's come from 2011 to now 2022, and 11 years. It's wild, but yeah. So that's my history with Lego. Pretty simple, yeah, it's just been a journey, and it's been a lot of fun, and I absolutely love Ninjago.
Also, Brayden is one of the masterminds behind the Ninjago documentary last year. I mean, he mentioned it earlier, but if you guys didn't know, he was one of the masterminds behind the epic 4-hour Ninjago documentary.
It was not 4 hours; it was 2 hours.
It was 2 hours. Wasn't it 4 hours?
3 hours.
Why do I think it was 4 hours?
No, it was not. Dude, if it was 4 hours, we had to think like 10 hours of footage, and we had to cut a lot of it down. But there was so much of it that was so important. Yeah, true. But there was so much of it that was so important to what we wanted to tell that we could not cut it down any more than what we have. So yeah, that was a whole journey in itself. Just being able to talk to creators and talk to Tommy and all of them and befriend the Ninjago creators. It's a dream come true. And I just cannot believe that happened, and got to celebrate Ninjago's 10-year anniversary with a fan-made documentary. I felt like was great, and the fact that they liked the idea and ran with it was really awesome. So if you're watching this right now, thank you so much to all the people that participated in the documentary. I really do appreciate it, and it made for an incredible documentary in my opinion. And it was just great to celebrate Ninjago's 10-year anniversary.
That was kind of the origins for Masters of Brickjitzu, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Really, if you think about it, that documentary spawned a lot of different opportunities after that, and I think using that as an advantage to say, "Hey, look what we did," and they really enjoyed it, and so they told me like, "Hey, you want to make a Lego Ninjago group?" I was like, "Yeah, I think that'd be a cool idea just to test out, see what I can do," and that's kind of how Masters of Brickjitzu came to be, really.
It's so interesting too because registered Lego online communities, they're not as common as your usual Lego users group or just your typical community ran by a singular ambassador. So it's very interesting that Brickjitzu gets to be a part of kind of what's almost like a pilot of sorts, though maybe a little bit more so with the fact that there's multiple groups kind of tackling it and such.
For sure, absolutely. It was interesting the way they pitched to me. Of course, I'm never going to turn something down if they offer something like that. I wanted to make it work, and I think it's working pretty well. Of course, not everything's perfect, but I feel like Masters of Brickjitzu is going along well. And yeah, I guess this is the start of a new age for Masters. That's the one thing that's so great about this community is that we get to try new and different things. And we're kind of free to do whatever we want. And that's just what's so great about having this community and being able to have it in an early stage to where we could set it up however we like, and if we don't like it, we could just scrap it and try something new. So that's the beauty behind, I think, Masters of Brickjitzu, and what makes Masters of Brickjitzu so great is the fact that we just get to make it whatever we want to be.
Actually, I want to go behind a bit. I was interested because we all grew up with Ninjago in the spinner era. Like, we all have Ninjago spinners, I'm pretty sure, right? We all have spinners.
Oh, yeah.
At least one.
I'm interested to see what people that joined the Ninjago community, like 2014, 2015, even like 2019, 2020, what's their approach to Ninjago? Because I know Ninjago just as like the spinner game. That's when I think Ninjago, the first thing that comes to mind is the commercials. They were in the street, these kids in the parking lot playing with spinners. Every time people say Ninjago, that's the first thing that comes to mind. So I'm interested in having people on Masters with different just contexts and how they became
perspectives for sure.
Ninjago fans. I think that's what's most appealing to me about Masters is bringing all these people with different contexts, different backgrounds, but they all love Ninjago, and bringing them together to talk about the same thing. And that's why I'm really excited for what we can do with the podcast, having amazing guests. Because we can't say who we're having on the podcast, but we're going to have some amazing guests on this podcast. And I'm just so excited to have just people who love this, both Lego, Ninjago, and Monkey Kid, and just talk about everything we love.
I should say that when it comes to Masters of Brickjitzu, we were founded on a love for Ninjago, but as the years go by, we're not going to strictly be limited to it. You might find that there might be reasons for us to bring in other content to compare and contrast with things that we're already doing and such. And then this podcast, too. We might not always be just talking Ninjago. Are we going to talk Ninjago? Oh, heck yes, we are. But, like, Monkey Kid, we might talk about Chimo for a while. Who knows? Might talk about Galador if anybody really wanted to.
I want to talk about Galador.
Cool.
Bro, let's have the actor.
Oh yes,
that Johnny Bluetooth, I think is his name.
Yeah,
he just followed me on Twitter. So,
no way!
I could probably make that happen.
We need to get Nick
Bluetooth. Loves
Bluetooth.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we need to get Nick Bluetooth on.
Johnny Bluetooth.
But we all need to get a Nick Bluetooth minifigure or action figure, actually.
If I get the boutique hotel, can I stick with the art instead?
No, you need.
I don't want to.
You need.
I don't want to spend those
Bluetooth.
prices there.
I have the
Galador
what's it called?
Exploded.
I have the Monkey Kid homage to Nick Bluetooth mech thingy with the wings. But that's about the Galador thing I have.
Why don't we talk general favorite Lego sets?
Oh yes. I
know my opinion is considered very controversial among action theme enjoyers, despite being someone who would probably think otherwise. I guess should I start then, or do you want to?
I think you should start. You start, Pen.
Start.
Okay. So over the years, thanks to working at Lego, I've kind of built up a bit of a backlog. So even some stuff that you would think that I would have built at this point, stuff that is considered just cream of the crop Lego set type stuff, I still haven't built yet. And whenever I think of my favorite Lego set, it would be something that I've already built. And because of that, my favorite Lego set is the NASA Apollo Saturn V rocket.
Wow.
I am not at all a contemporary space guy. That set is amazing, and everybody who I know who has built that set who did not care has come back to me saying, thank you for your recommendation. It's one of my favorite sets I've ever built. It is, sure, it's a display piece. It's huge. I understand you not wanting it for that reason too, but there is no build like it at all. Like maybe the weird telescope thing in the NASA Discovery Shuttle, but it is a completely round vehicle made out of a square, basically square brick built system. It's incredible. It's incredible how well that thing was executed. I cannot recommend it enough, especially for the fact that they kind of re-released it and now everybody can get it now still. So yeah, especially for the fact that it almost includes 2,000 pieces in there for only $120. That's an absolute steal. Can't recommend it enough. Ace, how about you? What's your favorite Lego set?
I mean, mine is pretty obvious. I have spoken about my love for this set 1,000 times. It's the Bone Demon. The Bone Demon is just a work of art. It's a masterpiece. In terms, like, the thing about Bone Demon is the reason it's my favorite Lego set ever. It's because the build experience is just out of this world. I love, one of the reasons I love Lego so much is the storytelling aspect to Lego. When I was a kid, I remember when I got Hogwarts, the 2010 Hogwarts. I remember hating that build experience because I wanted to play with Hogwarts, but I had to build that entire thing to play with it. But with the Bone Demon, every bag you build, you get to play with it. It's because it's like the theme. The thing about the set is, you know, it's these 3 different sections. It's the spiders, the tomb, and the scorpion. And then once you have all these 3 things done, you can build this massive mech. So let's say you only have time to build 1 bag, and you build the first bag, the spiders. You get MK and you get the spiders, and then you can just play with that. And then the next bag, it's you make this doorway to the tomb, to Lady Bone Demon's tomb, and you get May. But then you get to the tomb, and May and MK get upgrades. You build a slightly bigger staff, and then May gets her helmet and her sword. And it's just it's like the way that's the building process of that set is designed is out of this world. It's something I've never seen in another Lego set before. And just the way it tells a story while you're building it is phenomenal. And just as a toy, it's fantastic. Again, the play feature, the ability to have 3 different vehicles builds and then combine them to make this massive. And when I say massive, it's massive. It's I don't even know how tall it is, but it's huge. It's bigger than my face. And then I want to go grab it, but I don't want to like take time away from that. But and then it glows in the dark. You can just every time I go to bed, I look up and I see this thing, and it's not like it doesn't like slightly glow. It glows. You can see that you can be asleep, open your eyes, and see this thing glowing over your head. I love it. That's definitely my favorite set of all time.
Ace, I can just imagine. Go ahead.
You're saying it's like a multi-phase boss battle.
It is, yes. Exactly. It tells this very simple story, but the building experience is just out of this world. It's something I want to rebuild the set just because I want to go through that experience again.
Ace, I just picture you like telling you good night every night before you go to bed, and you just like cuddling up with your blanket, knowing that it's going to be there for you in the morning. And
I've joked about this, but I have pictures of the bone mech and the monkey mech tucked in bed. I have.
That's weird. That's weird.
I've seen those before.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's definitely weird. It's not something cool.
Put that picture up. Let the people see it.
No, I will put it on screen right now.
Okay.
Kyle, what about you?
Well, for one thing, I'm amazed with how quickly you and Pen were able to just pick your favorite set. I'm sitting here and thinking, like, what set could it be? And also...
Oh, it took thought. It took thought.
I'm just so indecisive. And the thing is, with my Lego collection, if people don't know, I haven't really built a lot of my Lego sets. I've only built like maybe like 25 of my sets. Like the majority of my collection is sealed, so I can't really speak too much to like the playability of the set or anything like that. But just based off pure design, I'd probably honestly, like, it's between a few. So I can give you one that I actually did build, and it's the Shellraiser set from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's probably my favorite set that I've actually built. And I just love that one. I have a lot of, like, I just love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't really have a particular, like, favorite iteration of the characters. Exactly, there it is. And yeah, it's phenomenal. Mine's, like, behind me in, like, my cabinets there, but it's so much fun. It's such a great set. I love the figures as well. So I really like that one. So that's for, like, my favorite set that I've actually built.
I love the interior space. I do have to say, I'm sorry for interrupting. But, like, you can fit all the Ninja Turtles in there, which is awesome. I love that you can also put this on a train track, because this is meant to be a subway thingy, and like in the show's canon. So I love that fact. But yeah, this is actually like second of mine. You got it. You're really good. Good.
Trying to steal my answer.
Continue.
So that's probably my favorite one that I've built. See, this is why it's difficult for me, because I also have the, like, Arkham Asylum as well.
I hate you.
Behind you?
Yes, that is
behind me. Yeah, it's like right over my head.
The OG Arkham.
It's funny because I was once watching. I was talking with Kyle, and he was like talking about his room tour, and then I started watching his room tour where we were talking, and he just shows off the 2013 Arkham Asylum, which is like my most wanted Lego set ever. He was like, "Yeah, I have that set." I was like, "How are you just saying you have that set?" I was so jealous and mad.
You know, what's funny about that set is that actually after I had gotten it, it was the first big Lego set that I bought with, like, my own money, because most of the bigger sets were, like, Christmas gifts, birthday things, and I'd actually bought it, and, like, maybe a year later, I would look at it, and I was like, I kind of regret getting this. I honestly...
You monster!
Like, I know. I think I just kind of saw other Lego sets, and I was like, oh, I'd rather have those. But now, looking back, like, right now, I'm, like, very grateful.
You don't deserve her.
And then I know my answer is really dragged on, but, like, all-time favorite Lego set, it's still in the box in my closet. It's probably Destiny's Bounty from the Lego Ninjago movie.
Oh, right there.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And I actually just rewatched the Lego Ninjago movie today, like earlier.
Trash.
I love the movie. It's like one of my favorite movies.
Trash.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a podcast.
That's a podcast topic on its own. Yes.
This podcast topic.
We will have, once the movie turns 4 years old in September, we're gonna have that debate. It's not gonna be a podcast. It's gonna be a debate. I will go to war.
I will fight for that movie.
I will go to war for everyone who likes that movie. I will go to war.
Like, it's ranked number 4 out of the 4 Lego movies, but I will fight for it for many different reasons.
I will go to war. Chris.
But yeah, that's...
Or actually,
sorry.
Ninja Whip Brayden was the last one. Now it's Ninja Whip's time.
Okay.
Brayden, you go next.
It's my time. I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet. I think my favorite Lego set is the Dragon Pit from 2018 Summer Ninjago Wave. That set is just absolutely incredible. The minifigures you get are fantastic. I also love the little Earth Dragon build as well. But the fact that it's just, like, so playable, and it's just an awesome play set for kids. And if I was a kid when this came out, I would have absolutely adored this set, because there's just so many little contraptions and little jail cells and so many weapons and missiles and all kinds of stuff that are just so much fun for kids to play with. And I just think this set is absolutely incredible for that reason. I also think getting all 4 ninja and the golden dragon armor Wu, which is a great exclusive figure, by the way, in this set is just fantastic. You get a great deal of villains as well, with Iron Baron, Arcade, Heavy Metal, and Chew Toy. Fantastic. And the build itself just looks amazing. And so I just absolutely adore this set, and I've adored it ever since it came out. I just it's a really awesome set.
It's funny you mentioned the villains of that set, because I cannot mention any hunted villain or dragon hunter names. I have no idea what their names are.
They're very specific if you look at their designs.
Sorry?
You can look at them. If you look at their designs, it can become really easy to tell who's who, just because they're all kind of just a little tropey. Like, Daddy Longlegs has the spider legs. Arcade looks like he's got an arcade roulette in his torso, I believe it is, or is that on his mask?
Yes.
It's on his
torso.
armor print. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that where there's little cues to tell you, all with the exception of heavy metal, but we all know which one's heavy metal.
Oh yeah, heavy metal is the one I do know. It's Faith. Yeah.
So interesting. Getting a Lego set where you feel like kid you would just adore it so much, because as someone who handled so much Lego in my time, it's so hard to find a set where you just go, wow, I would have loved this as a kid. And I'm not going to spoil which one, but I had that experience very recently. And I know that this panel here could probably guess which set that is, but oh my goodness, it's just such a magical feeling when it's like you want to build the set because it's so cool, because you know that little kid you would love it, and you love it because little kid you would love it. It's just the best feeling.
Was it the ninja training dojo thingy?
Ding ding ding! You got a winner.
Was it that set, Pen?
I have nothing to talk about that set right now.
A bit of context. Pen hates that set.
Conversation with that. Yeah, it's just it really is a magical experience when you can build a set and it reminds you of your childhood, right? So just the big play sets were my favorite as a kid, and I just love this set because it really reminiscens those big giant play sets like the Fire Temple or that Samurai X Cave or something like that that I had when I was a little kid. Right? Yeah, City of Sticks I had when I was a kid as well. So, it was just, I don't know, it was just a really cool feeling to have that big playset and have those 4 core ninja that I, grew up playing with. Like, I grew up playing with Kai, Cole, Jay, and Zane. So, I mean, it's just, just having those figures and Wu and all of those together, it's just a perfect Lego set to me. It really is.
It is. Chris, how about you? What's your favorite?
I'm hearing you guys talk about kind of this idea of having a set that kind of gives you that
the childhood splendor.
Yeah, that childhood splendor. And I mean, I'll be totally like honest and transparent with you guys. It's been a while, I think, since I've had that sort of like magic with a Lego set. And it's not because like I just feel like sometimes I buy and build Lego just to keep up with my collection, which can kind of make that magic fade a little bit. But I want to think like the last time that I like genuinely felt like I was exploring a set as I was building it was probably I don't know if this is my favorite. My favorite I think changes all the time because there's always something new and always something better coming out. But like the City of Lanterns for Monkey Kid was probably the last time that I felt like a genuine splendor as I built that. And I mean, I guess I did get that kind of recently, but you're just kind of exploring the city as you're building it and stuff. And it wasn't a set that I like was really planning on getting. It was kind of like a random $150 drop on a Lego set, which doesn't happen too often, but when it does, like it typically brings that sort of joy. And yeah, I think that one was probably the last one I really felt that splendor for. I think overall sets though, and this is a set that I had schemed so long for as a child to pick up. I remember like counting pennies at Toys R Us when I finally did buy that set, and that was the Operator base. I think at the point I had every other Operator set at the time. Sans maybe that Walmart exclusive one, but I had every other like Operator set. And I remember getting that set and like taking it home, and I was just like overjoyed to like finally have that set that I could just play with the rest of my Operator set. Or the rest of the sets with, I guess, and kind of like combine them and stuff. Not that there was any modular pieces to it, but yeah, I remember building that up, and that was just like one of the best like moments as far as Lego that I remember. And so I think I'd probably say that, but there are a lot of other contenders. Obviously, like Ninjago City, the first one was obviously a magical set, and anytime that I do like mocks and stuff, like I think those are like when I do like the addition that I made to Ninjago City was an absolute blast to make because I was able to portion it out and stuff like I wanted it to, and it was really my creation. At the end of the day, it fit with everything else perfectly, and kind of having it all slid together was really cool. But I mean, that's not a set that's widely available on the market by any means. But yeah, I'll go with Operator base.
Aqua Base Invasion is one of the very few Lego bases that are just fully comprehensive and complete.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. Like, I don't remember how many years. It probably actually took me about a year and a half to finally get that once I had decided I wanted it.
One of the coolest parts about it, so you guys all know like the front cannons of like the usual Republic gunship that Star Wars makes. Lego Star Wars has those little ball bearing things. Yeah. So there is a squid or an octopus included in the Aqua Base Invasion that has where one side of it is completely glow in the dark, translucent, and the other side is white, marbled with red. So when you insert the eyeball into its socket and put the people on there, not only does the eyes glow in the dark, but it also shows the veins behind its eyes too.
Whoa,
it is the weirdest, coolest thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to eventually recreate this set for a mock that I want to do for Brick Fair. Here in a couple years, I've got a laundry list of mocks that I want to do, and that can be another topic in and of itself. But we're going to see the operator base again, and a better built up form. So,
actually,
heck yeah, man.
Oh, speaking of operators, do you guys feel like? Would you guys like if Lego ever did another like underwater theme, like the non-city, non-Ninjago?
Always,
yeah, agreed.
But
anything unlicensed, yeah.
Do you guys think we'll get one though?
With Ninjago being like fresh out of their underwater theme, and the potential of a Monkey Kid underwater theme, that next year it'll be a while, but I would love to see one again. And I know that City's done some iterations of Underwater too, so I would
fantasy though.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I want fantasy too, but it'll just be kind of dependent on whether or not like wants to do something like that or Atlantis.
I call those themes one year and done themes, where it's like or one and done themes where they only last for 1 year, make a statement, make a point, have a moderate narrative, only last for a little while, then it's gone. Poof, it's gone. But here's the deal. But every year after, there's just something new. That is something that I would love to see from Lego again, specifically trying to go for fantasy action themes. Because they don't do that anymore. It's kind of like Ninjago takes up the mantle of this thing, does their own spin on it, and then it gets left at the desk, and then suddenly creator made one submarine here, or cities covering underwater exploration using actual contemporary stuff over here. I want them to start producing themes, small themes again, that evoke fantasy, but also encourage storytelling.
What was the last one and done Lego theme? Do you guys remember?
Last one and done, I like to call it Hidden Side, but that technically lasted for more than a year.
Man,
it just it has all of the pieces there. It has all of it there. It's just that the sets lack certain features because the app is poopy, and it basically lasted for a whole entire year's worth of lifespan because they just completely clearanced out all of the sets at the very end for the last wave there. But if we were to go serious about that, the last one and done theme, I believe, was Ultra Agents. And that would kind of last a little longer, of like Hidden Side did. Yeah, but that was kind of the last one. And I think this entire panel could attest for how fantastic that theme was.
Was really cool.
It landed at the same... Yeah.
I agree with you. I really miss one and done themes, especially because they would introduce really awesome elements. They would just tell a simple story, move on. Like Galaxy Squad, amazing theme, amazing theme, one and done. Monster Fighters, amazing theme.
Mars Mission, Dino Attack.
Mars Mission was
just something else. That was a peak renaissance of the action theme, which I miss dearly. But like we need to look out for Creator 3-in-1 though, because some of those things are starting to seep through here. All of this, hey, you remember this thing? We're doing this one thing, but you have 3 options to do it. And I think that's great. I just wish that there was more per release.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, because I see like
the mech. Wizard's Fortress as well? Or something? Dragons? I mean, it comes to the dragon. It's a small one, but
No, I was thinking more about the mech. Because I really want another like Lego mech-centric theme. That's not Monkey Kid, that's not Ninjago. Like, I would just want like something like Exoforce.
That's not Marvel.
Yeah.
The return of Exoforce. I feel like that's also another another podcast time, but
not like the return of Exoforce, but I'd really like to see like a one and done
that's what I want.
Lego mech theme. Because I look at Exoforce, like with on my channel I do like stuff like called Ultimate Tournament. And I did a mech ultimate tournament, and I had to go through Exoforce mechs. And the thing about Exoforce is they exercise so many muscles, like trying to make so many mechs. They just do come up with the like, in design school, one of the things they make you do is they always ask for like 100 sketches of the same thing, just so you can come up with the weirdest ideas ever. And you most of the times you go with the weirdest ideas because
you're most creative.
Yeah, no, I remember my teacher once said you really only work well under pressure. So if you have to deliver 100 sketches and you only have 50, you're gonna make the weirdest stuff. When you the last 50, you're gonna be really weird, and you're probably gonna just keep the last 50. And so I really want to see a Lego mech theme because I know they're gonna crank up so many weird ideas that we would never see in Ninjago, we would never see in Monkey Kid. But I want to see them exercise that muscle.
It was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do believe that it's time for us to start wrapping up here. Do we have any last quick thoughts here?
Nope. Guys, Brick?
Nothing for me.
Yeah, it's been great. Let's do this again.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for the Brickjitzu-Cast here. We're all very thankful for your time of listening, and please share us wherever you feel worthwhile doing so. We would love to spread the word that we're doing this thing here, and we hope to bring you more content in the future. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.